Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday morning, February the 17th. Very strong winds continue this morning in the Mid-Atlantic region, the northeast U.S., gusting up to 50 miles per hour or so, and those high winds will continue right through the day today. We have a very strong low pressure system now over the Canadian Maritime region, and the pressure difference between that departing low and an incoming Arctic high pressure system over the northern plains is quite significant, quite tight, and that is leading to these very powerful winds. Again, should last right through the day today into the evening hours here on a Monday. Very cold air exists this morning across the eastern two-thirds of the nation, and it looks like it will stay well below normal across much of the eastern two-thirds of the nation over the next few days. Now, low pressure will begin to organize by late Tuesday night, early Wednesday along the northern Gulf Coast. It will move east-northeast from that point to a position early Thursday morning, likely over the waters off the Carolina coastline, and likely thereafter continue on that east-northeast track. Given that track, as opposed to riding up along the Atlantic seaboard, it looks like the most significant precipitation associated with that low will stay to the south and east of the immediate I-95 corridor region from D.C. to Philadelphia to New York City. Doesn't mean it won't snow from later Wednesday into Thursday, and perhaps even some accumulations, but it does mean that the chances for significant snowfall have been greatly diminished with that system likely continuing on an east-northeast track. And we'll kind of go over some of the important factors here. It's still 2 or 3 days away, but we'll take a look here at why it looks like that east-northeast track rather than up the coast is the likely scenario. We have kind of a double barrel upper level low air pressure system this morning, one centered over New England, the other over the western Great Lakes, and will continue to progress here through the next few days and see what develops here by the middle of the week. This is now Wednesday morning time frame. Upper level low diving to the south and east across the middle part of the nation, and it kind of stretches out a little bit here, and basically can kind of see this flow of air on its southern side here that will likely force this low pressure system to continue to move on an east-northeast track rather than riding up along the mid-Atlantic coastline. Because of that, its heaviest precipitation likely to stay well to the south and east of places like D.C., Philadelphia, and New York City. Not to say there can't be accumulating snow with this upper level low moving overhead later Wednesday night, and Thursday. There certainly can be some snow shower activity, maybe even some steadier snow and some accumulations, but the threat of heavy snow looks like it has greatly diminished with this east-northeast track. And here we go by midday on Thursday. Pretty vigorous upper level low, but again, this flow right here will likely push that low pressure system more on an east-northeast track rather than up along the mid-Atlantic coastline. By the time we get to the end of the week, that passes on by, and the cold air of the next few days will start to relax here by the time we get to the upcoming week, and a lot of high pressure ridging starting to take over across the nation by the upcoming weekend. Well, let's take a look at the vorticity field using the 0Z run of the GFS model here. Beginning the day on Monday, again, we have kind of a double barrel system here, one centered over New England, another over the western Great Lakes. Now we'll continue to move forward here in time and get to the midweek system here. You can see this upper level feature right here over the northern plains as of Wednesday morning. It drops to the south and east, but instead of digging farther to the south, it kind of gets stretched out, and as a result, low pressure that will form over the northern Gulf region will continue to move on an east-northeast track, it looks like, at midweek from Wednesday into the day on Thursday, rather than riding up the coast. Now, it's still something that has to be monitored over the next couple of days just to see if this can dig a little farther to the south and east and have that surface low move a little bit farther to the north up along the Atlantic seaboard. But again, right now, the general flow here is basically east to northeast movement. The general flow here will force that low pressure area to continue to move in an east-northeast fashion out over the open waters of the western Atlantic. Here we go. By the time we get to Friday, you can see it's kind of a stretched out area of vorticity in the upper part of the atmosphere. Now, a very cold Arctic air mass has moved into much of the eastern two-thirds of the nation. These are way, way below normal temperatures here for the middle part of February, some 25 degrees below normal Celsius, that is, for this time of the year. And that cold air will dominate the scene over the next few days. Here we are into now midweek, still very, very cold relative to normal across the central plains here. Arctic air, Arctic high pressure in control, and that remains the case all the way through much of the week across the eastern two-thirds of the nation. This is now all the way into the day on Friday. Still, from the Rockies east, below normal temperatures, pretty much of a mixed bag out across the western part of the U.S. Then we get into the upcoming weekend and things start to relax. Still somewhat below normal here on Saturday, but you can see kind of starts to fade away in terms of its impact. And then we get to the early part of next week. We have a lot of warmer than normal conditions across the western half of the nation, and that ultimately will tend to spread east later next week. But for the next few days, very cold conditions across much of the eastern two-thirds of the nation. Well, let's now take a look at the surface forecast maps, again using the conventional run of the GFS from 0Z last night. Here is that strong low pressure area over the Canadian Maritime provinces, 962 millibars. There's a strong Arctic high right here over the southwestern part of Canada, and all these black lines represent lines of equal pressure, or what we call isobars. The tighter these lines, the stronger the winds, and we have indeed very strong winds overnight, gusting up to 60 miles per hour and anywhere from 50 to 60 miles per hour today across the mid-Atlantic, northeast U.S. Certainly can continue to cause some power outages. At one point last evening, there were at least 100,000 people without power across southeastern Pennsylvania, as an example. Bucks County, Montgomery County, Delaware County, and Chester County, and certainly with the kind of the recent rainfall, the wet soils, we can continue to have some power outage developments later on today into tonight, again with this very, very tight pressure gradient here, 50+ mile per hour winds. Now we'll move forward over the next few days, and here comes that low pressure area starting to form over the southern states here by the time we get to midweek. This is Thursday, and there's some rain to the south, some snow to the north here, and very strong Arctic high pressures still situated over the northern plains. Now, right now, that system starts to organize over the northern Gulf, then it continues to move kind of in an east-northeast fashion into midweek, and here it is by the time we get to late Wednesday night, early Thursday, continuing to move in that east-northeast track, limiting the snowfall when it comes to the I-95 corridor region to the south and east of places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. It's well to the south and east with this kind of a storm track. If indeed this system were to ride up along the Atlantic seaboard, that would be a big difference, a different story for the I-95 corridor region. As it stands right now, it will intensify rapidly, but it looks like far enough off the coast to limit any damage, let's say, in the D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor. It's not to say there will not be some accumulating snow later Wednesday into Thursday. With that upper low passing overhead, you can see a lot of instability, and there will be some snow showers, maybe a little bit of steadier snow in the mid-Atlantic region later Wednesday into the day on Thursday. But if this storm track holds up east-northeast, that will limit the chance for significant snowfall, at least in the immediate I-95 corridor region. Here we go. By the time we get to midday on Thursday, again, some instability, snow showers, maybe even some steadier snow, but the main action is out closer to where that low is, out over the open waters of the western Atlantic. Will go beyond this time frame into the end of the work week, and we have another tight pressure gradient from that departing low and incoming high, strong winds to end the week here in the mid-Atlantic, in the northeast U.S. Another round of strong northwest winds and cold weather lasts right into the upcoming weekend. So very strong winds again today, throughout the northeastern quadrant of the nation, gusting past 50 miles per hour or so. We'll continue to monitor the development of this low pressure system over the next few days. It looks like it'll form over the northern Gulf region by early Wednesday and then move on an east-northeast direction. If it continues on that east-northeast direction, which is right now the favorable scenario here, it will limit any potential significant snowfall chances for the I-95 corridor region. But again, still 2 or 3 days away, something we'll monitor closely over the next couple of days. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, this has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.